March 1962. A sunlit afternoon in Barbados. The Indian cricket team, in the midst of their West Indies tour, finds itself facing a fierce Barbados side. Though it was a first-class match, this wasn't just any opposition. Barbados had some of the best cricketers in the world, as good as any test team. After a dominant batting display, the home side posted 394 runs. And now, the Indian openers, Captain Nari Contractor and Dilip Sardesai, were set to begin their reply. They walked onto the field, prepared for a battle against two of the most feared fast bowlers of the time, Wesley Hall and Charlie Griffith. For Contractor, this was more than just another innings. He was the captain, his team looked up to him for courage, for leadership. And against the relentless pace of Hall and Griffith, courage was going to be tested. The match had barely begun when Griffith charged in, hurling a short pitch delivery. But the ball behaved unexpectedly, it stayed lower than usual. Nari, a seasoned left-hander, picked it up just a fraction too late. Before he could react, it was upon him. Instinctively, he turned his head. The impact was brutal. The ball crashed into his skull with a force so strong that its sound echoed across the ground. In his book The Tiger's Tale, Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi later wrote that it was a moment that left the entire stadium stunned. Contractor collapsed instantly, crumpling like a rag doll. Blood poured onto the pitch. The players rushed to him, their faces edged with horror. Team manager Ghulam Ahmed sprinted onto the field, lifting him up. Somehow, in a display of sheer will, Contractor stood, his hands gripping his head as if holding it together. Blood streamed from his nose and ears, a terrifying sign of internal trauma. At first, no one realized just how grave the injury was. It was only when Ghulam Ahmed insisted on immediate hospitalization that the full extent of the damage was uncovered. Contractor's skull was fractured, with small bone fragments penetrating his brain. The pressure on his brain was increasing, a situation that could turn fatal within hours. Meanwhile, on the field, another Indian batsman, Vijay Mandrekar, took a brutal hit to the nose and was forced to retire hurt. If even a player of his caliber struggled with the unpredictable bounce, something was seriously wrong. Finally, umpire Cortez Jordan took action. Despite the anger of the home crowd, he called out Charlie Griffith for throwing. Back in the hospital, Contractor was rushed into emergency surgery. Fragments of bone were carefully extracted from his brain, and a steel plate was inserted into his skull. His wife, who had traveled from Bombay to be at his side, watched over his recovery. And yet, in an extraordinary display of sportsmanship, Contractor himself refused to blame Griffith. "Charlie should not be blamed," he told his wife. "It was my fault." The aftermath of the incident ignited debates across the cricketing world. Should bouncers be banned? Should batsmen be given more protection? But Nari Contractor stood firmly against such changes. "Sport," he said, "should be about skill as well as courage." Determined to return to the game, Contractor resumed playing domestic cricket. But his international career was over, his test journey had ended that fateful day in Barbados. And yet, Nari Contractor remains a symbol of resilience. A warrior who faced death on the pitch and survived. A cricketer whose spirit refused to be broken. Today, at the age of 91, he stands as a living testament to the courage that defines the game of cricket.